Welcome to the Explainer. Look, the old rulebook for war in the Middle East has been completely torn up. Today, we are breaking down a conflict with Iran that is right on the brink of exploding, in a world where the old strategies just don't apply anymore.
Okay, so let's just dive right into the deep end, shall we? Recent intelligence is pointing to a massive, almost unbelievable shift in American strategy. We're not just talking about airstrikes anymore. We're talking about something way, way riskier. So why on earth would the U.S. even be considering a ground operation that insiders are calling a suicide mission?
Well, it's because the mission itself has fundamentally changed. The plan, apparently, is no longer to just, destroy Iran's nuclear material from the air. The new goal is to pull off one of the most daring heists you can imagine, to physically go in on the ground and steal it.
And no, this is not a movie script. It's a very real, very detailed ground operation. We're talking about elite U.S.-Israeli special forces infiltrating these heavily fortified deep underground sites like Natanz and Fordo. But here's the crazy part. They wouldn't be going in alone. They'd be escorted by a team of nuclear scientists, literally the only people on the planet who know how to handle, stabilize, and get this, 450 kilograms of uranium out of there. It just adds this whole other layer of insane risk to an already impossible mission.
So why take such a huge risk? What's so special about this material? Well, think about it like this. This uranium is already enriched to 60%. That's like a race car that's just inches away from the finish line. It takes almost no time or effort to push it over that last little bit to 90%, which is weapons grade. And Iran knows it. They've openly said this stockpile is enough to build 11 nuclear bombs. That's the threat that's driving this whole crazy plan.
And this quote right here, this is where it all clicks into place. This reveals the real unspoken objective. This whole thing isn't just about the uranium, is it? It's about regime change. The much bigger goal is to bring down the Iranian government. And we know this because, according to our source material, Donald Trump was presented with an earlier, simpler plan that was only about extraction, and he reportedly rejected it. This mission, it seems, has been deliberately designed to spark the collapse of the entire administration in Tehran.
But this isn't just about one single secret mission. The conflict is blowing up into a full-scale war on infrastructure. It's what people are calling a war of attrition, where the whole point is to cripple your enemy's basic ability to even function day to day. And this chart really shows you a terrifying new vulnerability. Iran has reportedly started targeting the desalination plants that are, quite literally, the lifeline for millions of people. I mean, just look at these numbers. Kuwait gets 90% of its fresh water from this technology. Saudi Arabia, 70%. An attack on one of these plants isn't just a military strike, it's a genuine existential threat to an entire country.
And so, in response, this economic war is just escalating. It's a tit-for-tat situation. While Iran is hitting water and oil targets in the Gulf, reports suggest its rivals are hitting back with these surgical strikes designed to bring Iran's own economy to its knees. One of the main targets is Karg Island, the hub for pretty much all of Iran's oil exports. A successful strike there could send a massive shockwave through global energy markets and make gas prices skyrocket overnight. So to counter this threat, the regional powers are activating their own economic defenses. You can think of the Sumed pipeline as kind of a secret backdoor for Saudi oil. With Iran threatening the main shipping route, the Strait of Hormuz, this pipeline lets Riyadh get its oil to the rest of the world without ever entering the danger zone. It's a way to protect its economy and the global supply chain.
All of this economic warfare is creating these huge ripple effects, and it's kicking off this frantic scramble for new alliances all across the region. You see, the old security setup, the one that was built on American protection, well, it's crumbling, and the fallout from that is totally reshaping the Middle East in real time.
For decades, the Gulf states always looked to Washington to be their main protector. But not anymore. They now reportedly feel like their backs are exposed, and they're starting to see U.S. bases on their own soil not as protection, but as liabilities that basically invite an attack. This is a massive historic pivot. They're turning away from the West to find their own deterrence weapons and build new alliances, a move that has apparently sent absolute shockwaves through Washington. And stepping right into this power vacuum is Egypt, with a really bold idea. Basically, a NATO for the Arab world. The vision is for a joint Arab force, a kind of collective shield built by Arab nations for Arab nations. And get this, it would operate without any permanent Western bases and would have its own integrated air defense system, with Egypt trying to position itself as the key mediator to bring stability to the region, but on its own terms.
But, to really get why the whole region is on such a knife's edge, you have to look inside Iran itself, because there's been a huge power shift there that is slamming the door shut on any real chance for a peaceful solution. So, on the surface, you've got the new president, Masoud Pezeshkian, and he's saying all the right things about peace and talking things out, but behind the curtain, the source material says the person with the real power is Ali Larijani. He's a military hardliner who has reportedly rejected diplomacy and has zero interest in making any kind of deals.
And this hardline shift? It's just been cemented into place with the appointment of Mujtaba Khamenei as the new supreme leader. His rise to power guarantees that the conservative system will continue, and it gives even more power to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or the IRGC, which is already this incredibly powerful military and economic force in Iran, and now its influence is stronger than it has ever been.
And the IRGC is sending a very clear, very direct message to the entire world. We are not afraid of a fight. They have publicly shot down any idea of a short, clean war. Instead, they're saying they are prepared for a total war that will last for at least 6 months. A war that would be absolutely devastating for everyone in the region. So what's become crystal clear is that the old rules are just gone. The U.S. is thinking about a ground war, the Gulf nations are striking out on their own, and Iran is now run by hardliners who are actively preparing for a major conflict. A dangerous, unpredictable new era has begun. The question isn't really if the old order will fall anymore, but what's going to rise up from its ashes? And will it be a region that finds a new kind of peace, or one that's even more chaotic than before?